I have a story that I have to tell. I have to write this story. It is a non-fiction. It is the most difficult, horrendous journey I've ever been through. It scarred my soul, and at the end of it, the most extraordinary thing happened that I've ever witnessed in my life.
Well, you're going to have to elaborate a little bit for us, because now we're all on tenterhooks.
Well, I worked in third world aid. My first assignment was to go into the Romanian orphanages after the story broke on 2020 by Barbara Walters. For those of you who don't know, Ceausescu was an insane dictator who literally destroyed the country. Went to China, apparently saw how many people they were worshiping and honoring, so he came back to Romania, outlawed abortion, outlawed birth control in the second poorest country in Europe. People with 4 and 5 children would have another child. They could barely feed their own. They'd give these kids up to the orphanage where they thought they were being taken care of.
They weren't even held. They weren't touched.
Yeah. Their estimates go as high as 500,000 went into these orphanages. Records were never kept. The lucky ones died. The unlucky ones, when adoption happened, the sex trades moved in. These children were never touched. When they study attachment disorder, they study. And I went into the Romanian orphans, and it shattered my soul. And I wrote this piece of poetry. May I?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I seek adventure? Why does my soul need to roam to places dark and distant that leave me crying for home? Why must I see the things I do that disturb and rob my soul, and find myself looking once again into another black hellhole? Is this part of my destiny? Is this merely part of my fate, to see the ugliest parts of life that thrive in the lowest state? I find each time I go there I arrive in stunned surprise, to learn one more life lesson wrapped in an ugly disguise. What good comes of any of this? Am I better somehow? Did I need to be tortured and humbled? Did I need to learn to bow to the forces of good and evil that breathe insanity into life? Is it simply my way of knowing that always there is strife? I've seen so much of hell on earth. There are scars upon my soul, and I've heard the tales of others who have paid a greater toll, and still I ask the question, is this just the palette of life, the other side of joyousness, the cutting edge of the knife? Sweet misery, you've come again. The arm of death is near. Another soul has lost their way in the never-ending fear that one day will call my name, and I too will be at last, ingrained in the memories of others, part of a fading past. That's what Romania did to me. It was such a horrible journey that to write about it again is to go back into the worst time, but then this extraordinary thing happened, and I met this woman. And at her funeral, which I was unable to attend, I was so ill, and I'd been helping her so much, the priest who had been her confessor for 15 years, she was originally going to be a nun, did her service, and on 3 occasions he referred to her as a saint. I phoned him 4 weeks later, and I spoke to him, and I wrote down his answer. After, hello, how are you? And he said, I heard you were so ill. I'm better, thank you. I said, I heard you refer to Teresa Sidor 3 times as a saint. Do you believe she was a saint, Father? And he said, there are many little saints in the forest known only to God. And yes, I believe Teresa Sidor was such a woman. And when I look back and I kept all the notes on all the things, I think she might have been. So I would have done this whole journey again to have met this woman and witnessed her.
Amazing.
Yeah, all I have to do is write it